Welcome back to Geek Therapy Radio. As always, I am your mental curator, Johnny Hemberger, showing you around the Museum of the Mind. And I have an actual curator on the line with me, the Curator of Astronomy. Is that right, Dr. Carolyn?
That's good enough.
Good enough. Dr. Carolyn Sumners from the Houston Museum of Natural Science. And she is going to help us understand all of this information we've been seeing the past few days about the newly photographed black hole. So, Dr. Carolyn Sumners, what kind of light can you shed on this? Black holes don't shed lights in their interior, but we've been able to see the event horizon, so to speak. So what can you tell us about the black hole, and what kind of, forgive the pun, but what kind of weight does this have for astronomy?
We have been talking about black holes for an awfully long time. And we've had all kind of science fiction written about them, all kind of wormholes, all this stuff written. And then one has to face the fact that no one had seen one because they don't emit light.
Yeah.
Nothing escapes them, not even light waves. Therefore, the goal was to figure out a way to see one, to photograph one, to get an image that said, that is a black hole.
Yeah.
Well, the black hole itself can't be seen, but its shadow can. In other words, it's there, and all we have to do is get a big enough one. And the one in the galaxy M87 is quite large, 6 billion suns worth. That's a good number. We'll take that.
Yeah.
And it would hold the whole solar system. It's a really big object, and that would do just fine. Then we had to figure out how we were going to image it. Now, it's tricky. Radio waves are the easiest to put together, so we can string all these radio observatories around the world together, 8 of them, and all look at the same thing at the same time, which, if you play your computer algorithms right, will give you a better image than any single one can give you.
Yeah.
You can combine the images and you get a telescope, effectively a dish, the width of the Earth itself, just about.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. But you have to have weather the same and good at all 8 locations at the same time. And April is about the only month where this is even possible. And so this is what took so long. And they did the observing run in 2017 that actually gave the data we used in mid-April, about 10 days worth of data running on the object, trying to get a time when there was the minimum amount of water in the air. Water is terrible for radio waves.
Yeah.
So is everything else, for that matter, but water especially. And at any rate, we got all the data, put it all together, and the goal would be to get rid of all of the things that shouldn't be there in the data, and the result would be the real object.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, and that's what gave us our first image, where it's a real image.
Yeah.
We know the black hole is there. And I keep thinking about all of the years we've been teaching that object by that star has to be a black hole because material is falling into it, we can tell that, and the object is going around something, we can tell that, but we're not seeing the black hole.
Yeah.
Well, now we can say, yes, Einstein was right, our theories are right.
Yes.
Black holes do exist because we got a picture of one.
That is, to me, that's the most profound aspect of all of this. Someone walking around the station halfway, they were just halfway joking the other day that it's just a blurry halo. And I said, but it's not just that it's a blurry halo. It's not just the image itself. It's what the image represents and how groundbreaking this is. To me, and maybe you can, you might agree with this, that this is the most groundbreaking observation in astronomy that I can think of in the last, I would argue maybe perhaps decades. This is a huge discovery.
Yeah, I think our problem with this image is that we've done such a good job with the science fiction.
Yeah.
In other words, we've made so many wonderful black hole images that we use in our planetarium programs, that we have in our movies, and all these different ways of going into a black hole. We've just done such a great job showing a black hole where we never did really see one.
Right.
That people go look at the real thing, which is very far away, and go hum hum.
Yeah.
Yet it was the most impressive about it. What if it hadn't been there?
Yeah.
What if we'd photographed this thing and no black spot appeared in the middle?
Right.
Our whole theory of science would have gone away. So it was very important at some point to have your theory matched by a real picture of something.
Yeah.
And that's where we are now. as much as anything else, it is a very spectacular image. I think, now the colors are not real, they're false colored. These are radio waves. And the more yellow the part of the image is, the more intense radio waves. And then the darker parts are less intense. So we kind of know how the material is swirling around this black hole. And we get an idea of what's falling in. The one thing we always know is the mass of the black hole.
Yeah.
And we always have some kind of idea of its angular momentum, of its spin. We don't know anything else, and we can't.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the most fundamental thing about astronomy. That black hole is gone. It doesn't exist in our universe. It's not part of our space-time.
How many millions of light years away is it? It's something like 80 million light years away.
Yes,
something
I don't
like
have that right there. It's the distance of M87.
Yeah.
Someone can look that up in great detail.
Yeah.
You can see this galaxy with a modest telescope as a fuzzy spot.
Right.
It's a big galaxy, and it's a big black hole, and it's face on. It's exactly how you want to photograph it. And so it made it the perfect first target. And we had used radio telescopes to detect jets coming out around the black hole before. So we had some practice with it, but not with this many telescopes.
Yeah.
So it was a very ambitious plan. The computers had to be right to put all of these images together. And they are. And we got an image. I think we'll get the center of our own galaxy soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not as big, closer, but it's in the middle of a lot more dust. See, you've got stuff between you and the black hole that you've got to remove from the data.
Yeah.
And that's radio waves, because they're such long wavelength waves, can penetrate where other wavelengths of light get obstructed by what they run into.
Yeah.
Radio waves are more, in many ways, more penetrating. And for that reason, we had a chance of finding this thing. And what's exciting is we did.
Yeah. And so what's also extremely fascinating is I looked it up just now. Galaxy M87, it's in the Virgo region. It's 55 million light years from Earth. So that black hole is probably long gone by now. We are looking back in time 55 million years at it, which means if some planet around in that galaxy was looking at us, they would see us 55 million years ago, which is just about the time of the dinosaur, a little bit after the dinosaurs went extinct, but they'd be seeing us from a very long time ago. But
I'm sure the hole's still there. I mean, I don't think there's any question that it's still there.
Right.
It's bigger.
But it's 55 million years more mature than it is than what we can observe right now. It's all very.
And we're talking about the galaxy that. Universe, the length of the time the universe we know has existed, the timelines of astronomy are the space and timelines of astronomy are so much greater than normal human experience.
Absolutely, we human existence, all of human existence, period, is not even the blink of an eye on the atomic scale right now. What I was saying about the black hole we photograph now, 55 million light years away. Can you imagine what we can get a closer picture of our own black hole eventually? What kind of mysteries that would reveal in our own backyard?
Well, I think it's going to look. I think the most important characteristic of a black hole is nothing.
Yeah.
In other words, it doesn't reveal anything. That's what's so frustrating. You think about, we'll just send a probe inside that black hole.
Yeah.
That's what we do so well.
Right.
Why couldn't we someday in the future do that? Well, simple. You send in the probe, no problem. Probe falls right on in. But the probe can't send any information back.
Right.
And so how we find out about what these different, the surface of Pluto and all kind of things we get is that we get data back in wavelengths of light that we collect, and we can process the data. Nothing's coming out of that black hole.
Absolutely.
And the one that's of our galaxy, nothing's coming out of it either.
So
what it represents is a place where our universe no longer exists and cannot be detected, and we can't study it. And I think that's such for physicists, for scientists, maybe for all of us, we don't want a limit.
Yeah.
We've never wanted things to limit us.
Right.
Like that does.
Dr. Sumners, can you stick around for one more segment? We can talk about the new moon landing exhibit opening at the Houston Museum of Natural Science.
I'd love to.
All right, that's Dr. Carolyn Sumners. She's going to join us for one more segment. We're going to take a brief break here, and we'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio. Talk about the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to be doing this show. We'll be right back.